Hello everybody and welcome to Wednesday's Reflexology Wisdom. You may recall that a few weeks ago I finished our series on foot charts, but I set a challenge to all of you guys who watch this and asked if anybody wanted to do a video themselves reviewing my charts. Then I would send you a free set, and that's exactly what Rachel Ray from Norfolk in England has done. She rose to the challenge, and literally yesterday I received the videos, so I thought before we started on a completely new series I'd just finish off with her videos. Now I've not watched them yet, so I am, shall we say, a little bit nervous. I hope she liked them, I hope you like them, but enough of me waffling. Let's just hand straight over to Rachel.
Hello, my name's Rachel and I'm pleased to have been given the opportunity to review the reflexology charts of David Wayte. So David presented a series of, I think it was about 10 YouTube videos examining the foot charts of notable reflexologists from Nottingham in the 1930s right up until the present day. And as a relatively new reflexologist, it's easy to be a little bit obsessed with the exact or right position of the reflexes. So I've greatly enjoyed seeing both the similarities and differences in the charts. It's certainly given me food for thought and things to explore for myself. So to the charts. I have a foot and a hand chart and I will just show you these in a minute. So this is the chart for the feet, showing the plantar, dorsal, medial and lateral edges of the feet. And my first impression is it's very clear and uncluttered, and very much helped by a numbering key system, which a lot of the previous charts have also used. Makes it much easier to identify the reflexes. One thing that I particularly liked that really stood out to me immediately was the small intestine. If I just zoom in on that, this area, and I just like it because of all the squiggly lines, to me represents the small intestine. Looking at the key to the reflexes, it's actually full of quite interesting points that haven't necessarily had a lot of attention before. If I just zoom into this area here, you can see that the teeth are represented on the four toes, with the upper jaw and the lower jaw showing the incisors, the canines and then the molars. The trapezius, which is shown on the foot chart here, linking the neck with the shoulder, is an area that I know David has talked about in the past as being very relevant to stress, and certainly something that he recommends working a lot. So that's quite interesting to see that clearly represented. Also, moving down to the more lateral and medial views, we have here the hip and the pelvis. So this is the hip and the outer pelvis, and then on the medial side of the foot, the inner pelvis. And I like the idea of the pelvis being a little bit like a bowl containing things, and then clearly shows the reproductive organs, but particularly points out the cervix, which I'm not sure that I've seen on any other charts. It's interesting to see a reflex specifically for the lower back and the psoas, which is here and a little bit up here, and it kind of looks to me or feels like it's the area of your body above your hip, but on the side of your back. That seems to make sense to me, and perhaps it's an area where people do experience quite a lot of their lower back ache in that muscle area. Also, running alongside the spine is the reflex for the erector spinalis muscles, the big band or ribbon of muscle that runs across the back. And David has talked about getting good results for work in this area for muscular backache, So it's quite a nice reminder that the spine isn't just the spine, that there are other structures around it that might be affecting your clients. Two reflexes that cause a little bit of debate in my head are the arm and the leg reflex. So here they're represented in a straight line. So the leg, starting from the hip, goes through the knee and out through the lower leg, and the arm, starting at the shoulder, goes through the elbow and out the other end through the forearm. Some charts represent some of these reflexes in a more fetal position, with the limbs bending back on themselves, and I think Chris Stormer's chart has the leg actually going up the back of the calf. Interestingly, there isn't a reflex for the foot or the hand, so whether or not you would decide that it would be in this area for the foot or in this area for the hand is perhaps something that is to be explored still. Finally, a couple of other interesting reflexes. We have this one here on the lateral edge of the big toe, which is the whiplash reflex. So I wondered if perhaps David had found that to be a particularly useful area to work for clients with whiplash. And the other thing that makes an appearance is this point here, which is the spleen 6 point. It's the first time I think I've seen an acupressure point mentioned on a chart, so that's quite interesting as well. So moving from the foot chart to the hand chart, and once again the hand chart is very clear in its representation of the reflexes, along with a very useful key as well. I think this chart is quite helpful if you're wanting to give specific homework to clients in between treatments, particularly for the teeth, which are very easy to see represented on the fingers, with the upper and lower jaw for the teeth. Also, these points here are listed as sinus drain point or upper lymphatics, so it might be nice easy areas to point out and work for clients that have got issues with sinuses or anything chesty or lymphatic. And then this point here is listed as a pain point. Again, a really quick and easy point to show to clients on their hands to use to support themselves in between treatments, or if they've got particular pain issues. So I just thought these were very, very nicely represented. And then at the bottom of the chart is a representation of the meridians, showing the fingers that they originate in and where they run through the hands. I've not seen that on a chart before, so it'd be interesting to see whether or not that's an area that will develop with the charts, combining the meridians with the reflexology. I hope you've enjoyed looking at these foot and hand charts and discovering some of the points that I've talked about. One thing I didn't mention was on the foot chart, it's entitled Finger Free, which is a technique that David has developed, but it's left me intrigued exactly about what finger free reflexology really means, so something for the future.
Wow, that was an amazing overview from you, Rachel. Thank you so much. I was really wondering how it was going to turn out with somebody that's never been taught by me, that's never met me, how you would interpret those reflexes, and what a wonderful job you did. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I hope everybody that's watching this enjoyed that too. One of the questions that you did ask, which I will ensure to answer in the next episode, of Wednesday's Reflexology Wisdom is what Finger Free Reflexology is all about, why I created it, what the benefit is, especially for reflexologists. So I will do that and answer that question. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed watching this. I will see you all next week, and until then, stay well, stay safe, and Rachel, thank you very much for rising to the challenge.